I'm Cyrstal Faulkner with the CPA and Business Advisory firm of Cooney, Faulkner & Stevens. We're here today with Mark Reitzes. Mark's the president of Huntington Bank, Southern Ohio and Kentucky regions. And Mark, Accounting for Kids Day is this coming Wednesday, November the 14th, and certainly it's a day when hundreds of business and financial professionals go into the schools here in our region to play a really fun, interactive financial education game with the kids. And Huntington has been a sponsor of Accounting for Kids Day since day one. Why is financial education so important to you?
You know, giving back to the community for Huntington is a big deal, right? And we try to serve all the critical needs in the area, but the one thing that really we're passionate about is financial literacy. Accounting for Kids is such a great program to go and fulfill that mission.
It is. It is an amazing program. The kids love it, but I think the adult volunteers like it just as much, if not more.
I think they do. You know, it's a life-changing event for a lot of these children. It's an opportunity for them to really see the business world from a different perspective, and for us business people that are going in and doing this, it's really a game changer. It's a life-changing event to be able to mentor and see, really inspire people maybe to go on, learn, continue with their education.
Well, and purely from an economic development standpoint, to help us as a region maintain our competitive advantage for the next generation of leaders, it's important that these kids learn those skills.
It sure is. It's hand-to-hand combat, right? You know, it's important that the overall education really is promoting livable communities, economic development. You're absolutely right. We can't do enough to help our children get a better education.
Well, and clearly this economic downturn that we're hopefully coming out of is a clear example of why people need to understand financial education and the difference between the fact that you can't spend more money than you bring into the house.
It sure is. I mean, as you run your household, you and I both, we know that receipts cannot go, you can't have enough receipts, and you don't want your expenses to go on.
You don't have to be a CPA to figure that out, do you?
You can have debt and figure things out that way, but really we try to do counseling to help at that level.
Well, speaking of counseling, let's talk about what some things that parents can do at home that will help their children reinforce these concepts.
Yeah, you know, I think it's important to train your kids early. Have them see about check writing and paying bills and putting money from a check into a savings account. Some things that we take for granted, really important, because with my own children, obviously going off to college, I realized I didn't do a good enough job at that. As they went and had to write checks and do things like that, they're like, Dad, how does this all work? So yeah, you can't stress enough that we start at the home. And
again, Accounting for Kids Day is this coming Wednesday, November 14th. If you'd like information, you can just go to the website, accountingforkids.org. And Mark, we're going to continue our conversation on WCPO.com, talking to Mark Reitzes, Regional President of Huntington Bank. So Mark, just switching gears a little bit.
Yes.
Another conversation that's very near and dear to my heart is working with businesses, privately held businesses, smaller businesses in our community. And Huntington is the leading bank in all of Ohio in terms of small business lending.
You know, we embarked upon a mission 3 years ago to be the bank of the Midwest. And one of the things that we really focused on was business-to-business lending, particularly in the small business area. They comprise the majority of businesses in the United States and in the state of Ohio. And yes, we're proud to announce that we were just again named the #3 largest lender in the country for SBA lending, #1 in Ohio, #1 in our 6-state footprint.
Well, let's talk about some things that businesses can do to better their chances of getting a loan if they are in a situation where they just don't know how to go about going down that path.
They need to work with their financial advisors like Cooney, Faulkner, Stevens.
I didn't tell him to say that either.
And as well as their attorneys and their banker, developing a business plan that really lays out not only just what they need for the current needs, but into the future. Because as we know, business cycles change, so it's important that everybody be on the same game plan.
And let's talk about in our region. And you see a lot of companies, you're right at the pulse of what's going on in businesses here in our community. How do you think that we stack up here?
We stack up very well here. Matter of fact, not only in Cincinnati, but also in the state of Ohio, our unemployment level right now is at 6.9% compared to the national average, which is close to 8%. So we're seeing much better activity here. It appears the Midwest is leading the recovery. We still have work to get done, obviously, as a country and as a nation, but we're starting to see some really nice signs, not only from the automotive sector here, which we have heavy concentrations in the state of Ohio, but also in the energy sector, shale, fracking, and things of that nature. So some optimistic signs showing.
And you know, the bankers at Huntington Bank, I mean, it's not about just going to the bank the day that you need the loan or the next week that you need a loan. How do you recommend that businesses engage their bankers to really make them part of their financial team and help them attain the success that they're looking for?
You know, it's as much as the banker's responsibility as a business owner. Well, we try to encourage our Huntington bankers to be out at least quarterly with our businesses, not only to see what's going on, but also to give that advice. And I think I mentioned earlier, is also give that long-term perspective. Business owners so often are looking just at their current pipelines, their current opportunities, but also their challenges, and not necessarily focusing on the larger picture. We try to bring that, we try to use a scale that of all of our client base and bring that to bear on an individual situation.
And certainly it's not one of those things where, as a business owner, that you want to surprise a banker. I mean, where do you see some of the biggest mistakes? People looking for loans or looking to increase their lines of credit, what's the biggest mistake they make?
I think, you know, like any type of relationship, communication. The biggest mistake is just not communicating, whether it be good or bad news. I think no one likes surprises in any type of situation. So I think we always encourage during our relationship, let's be transparent, let's be open. There's going to be bumps along the way. We do know that for certain. That's what we call business cycles. It's an inevitable. It will happen. So it's important that we understand each other and also prepare for those times which we know will come, which will be bumpy. So when businesses are prosperous, we always remind, please save a few dollars, have a rainy day fund so that you have an opportunity to react to tougher situations.
You know, Mark, again, thank you so much for being my guest, and
Oh,
thank
you're
you
welcome.
and congratulations on
Thank
being
you.
the #1 SBA lender in all of Ohio.